What's up, fellas? Time for Wake Up Mintzy, presented by Dude Wipes and Stella Blue on this fine Tuesday morning. Coming to you not live from the Barstool Chicago office. Getting a little warmer this week. Still a little cold, but not too bad. And got a bunch of stuff to get into today, as always. Shout out Tyler Moody, is always holding the fort down from Louisiana, but joined immediately off the top by the newest Barstool employee. And, man, what a fun hire, because I can't even begin to say how much fun I had supporting this team this year. Fresh off a college football playoff run, the undaunted Indiana Hoosiers, center, Michael Kadick, joining Barstool. What a life. Just makes the playoffs, and now he joins the stool. He was in the office yesterday. Had a lot of fun getting to know him. We were doing all kinds of, well, I guess videos are coming out soon, but he was doing some football stuff with us. First of all, welcome to Barstool. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you. I'm doing great. It's such a blessing to be a part of Barstool, and it was great meeting you yesterday and talking Indiana football. And yeah, I'm just fired up, man. I'm fired up.
I love it. The energy's contagious. What a time to be alive. 2025, good things are happening. Well, I want to start with the Barstool stuff, and then I got a lot of stuff to talk to you about this Indiana team, because this Indiana team is one of my favorite teams I've ever followed. All right, so how did this come about? All of a sudden, you're coming to the stool.
Yeah, so one of my good friends, Anthony Leal, who's on the men's basketball team, reached out to Dave because they exchanged numbers when Dave came to Hoosier Hysteria. And he reached out to him on my behalf, and Dave was like, hey, tell him to email me. I emailed him some videos of me in the media in front of a camera showing my personality, and he was like, yeah, dude, you're hired.
Hell yeah, that quick. So
Yeah.
you did some media stuff while you were playing football in Indiana, like what, just like press interviews, or did you do any other stuff?
Yeah, so I went to Big Ten Media Days. So there's three guys from the team, and then the head coach go to Lucas Oil and just talk to a bunch of media in front of cameras all day. And a bunch of people were like, hey, dude, like, you're pretty good in front of a camera. Like, maybe, this is something you could pursue. And, the season went on, and I kept getting interviewed in podcasts and things like that. And I'm like, you know what? Like, this is my passion. This is what I like to do. And, and Barstool is a dream job of mine. So it was just great how everything worked out, and I'm so blessed.
Hell yeah. What'd you think? So you were in the office yesterday. What'd you think about it?
Oh, it was like, well, I walk in, and Big Cat was there to greet me and walk me around and give me a tour. And then I talked with him a little bit, and then I walked downstairs, and there's John Gruden. And everyone saw that clip of me and him meeting for the first time and him telling me to get my stance. But no, my head was spinning. It was like a fantasy factory. It was so cool. Everyone was so great. The working environment is so cool, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it and get to work with everyone. And I was just, my biggest thing yesterday was just kind of put names to faces and meet everyone and start building relationships and just learning more about the business and, what blogging is and what it takes to collab with people and get in videos and shows. So, yeah, I'm just super excited to get started March 1st.
Hell yeah. So you just said it. So you're going to be starting in here March 1st. What are you're back in Bloomington now? What are your plans this next month?
Yeah, I'm back in Bloomington until I leave February 19th for Tampa for my cousin's wedding. And then just coincidentally, Coach Gruden's going to be down there. And he's like, hey, why don't you come by the facility? We can break down some film and just talk ball. We can grab some dinner and stuff. So I'll be meeting up with him in Tampa. And then I move in, late February.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm excited for you. I love the passion. I love the enthusiasm. All right, now we get to what I want to really talk about was this season that just happened for Indiana football. So your backstory, I mentioned before, you were not a transfer. You were at Indiana for 6 seasons?
Yep.
You saw a lot in those 6 seasons. That's for damn sure. So you started out when you started out with Tom Allen coaching?
Yep.
And so I remember the 2020 team that was really good when y'all beat Penn State, and I think y'all won 8 or 9 games that year when y'all had Penix. I guess that was the highlight until this year.
Yeah. So Coach Allen and Coach Hiller recruited me out of high school. I got there in 2019. I early enrolled in January, and then we had a great year. 19, we won we went 8-5. We lost to Tennessee in the Tax Slayer Bowl in Jacksonville, and then 2020 COVID hits. There's questions of if we're going to play or not, if the season's going to go, and then it ultimately got resumed, and we played Penn State in our first game, and we beat them in overtime with the famous Michael Penix, reach out to the pylon, and then we ended up 6-2 that year, I think, because of some game cancellations and things like that. Lost to Ole Miss
Yeah.
in the bowl game.
Yep, I remember that. Y'all were like y'all were like an 8-point favorite too. I remember I took the Raps.
Yeah. All right. You want to keep going, Vince, or you want to?
What are you gonna do, man?
And then 21 to 23, we won a combined 9 games, and then made the coaching change going into this year with Coach Sig, and then we just had an unbelievable year.
Well, okay, so do you remember? Was Kalen DeBoer was there with you in 19 and 20, right?
Just 19.
Okay, because obviously he's been on a rocket ship. I know he was in Indiana, and then he went to Fresno and did real well there with Hainer. Went to Washington, got Penix, poached Penix from Indiana with that relationship, got him to the national championship, and now he's coaching Alabama. It's wild.
Yeah.
The journey he's been on. So this last year, though, you'll hire Coach Cignetti from James Madison. And he brings, 14 or 15 starters from James Madison in the transfer portal, something like that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and going into the year, I mean, I was all about it because I loved what Cignetti did at James Madison. They only lost 1 game last year, or 2 years ago now, in a tough Sun Belt. Brings in all those guys. And I remember the preseason hype, a lot of people were sleeping on y'all. And I remember y'all's over-under was like 5.5 wins. And there were a bunch of people in this office that were like, dude, Indiana's going to be freaking good this year. And a big part of it was Curtis Roark, y'all's quarterback. I loved him at Ohio, and then he had a bunch of knee injuries. But then he came in this year. What was it like playing with him?
It was incredible. He's such a mature veteran. And having a veteran center and a quarterback just kind of makes the offense gel and move so smoothly. And he's such a smart guy in the pocket. He has such great pocket presence, game knowledge. And, when he's back there, we know he's going to make the right plays. We know he's going to make the right, his eyes are going to be in the right spot. So, yeah, it was crazy playing with him. He's a great dude, a great leader. And, yeah, I'm blessed to have him for my last year.
Did y'all know he had a partially torn ACL all year? Was that common knowledge on the team? Because then that came out after the season. He kept that whole thing quiet?
Yeah, no one knew. I mean, I didn't even know. I thought they all thought that it was just his thumb. That was it. I didn't know it was his knee as well.
Yeah, I know. He had a bunch of injuries in Ohio, but he was super accurate and good. Well, y'all start the year off, and, I know y'all played a little weaker non-conference schedule, but did y'all just came out beating the hell out of people? I mean, it was... Yeah. I think y'all beat Western Illinois 70-something to 3. You crushed FIU, crushed Charlotte. I mean, y'all came out. I know that might not have been the toughest competition, but it was apparent from the start this was a different team.
Yeah, I knew because everyone asked me, before the season, how are you guys going to be? It's the same questions every year, and I told everyone, I'll let you, I'll know how good we're going to be after we go play at the Rose Bowl against UCLA, and we go out there and take care of business. And then I was like, okay, this team's legit. We're gonna do well this year. And then we come home, beat the shit out of Charlotte, beat Maryland, and then we go and beat Northwestern, and we're the first team bowl eligible. We're 6-0. We're going into our first bye week. And I'm like, okay, we're doing some shit this year that Indiana has never seen. And then we come out of the bye week homecoming and we beat the shit out of Nebraska.
Killed them. 56-7. Yeah, Barstool was there. I mean, that was the big national coming out, and that was and then I remember the week after Nebraska was in the fourth quarter game with Ohio State.
Yeah, exactly, and that made and going into that game, they were ranked earlier in the season. They were 5-1, so all the media, everyone's saying, "Oh, Indiana hasn't played anyone," blah blah blah, and then they're like, "Okay, this is our first test, Nebraska." We go out there and hang 56 on them. And then people are still saying, I don't know yet. So, all that shit about Indiana didn't play anyone, they can all cram it. But, Yeah, dude, it was such a fun season, and I actually tweeted at Will Compton after that game, not knowing I'd be working for Barstool later, but
That's wild. Well, I would have asked, so, okay, because the beginning of the year, y'all started out hot. Y'all have got a great fan base. I mean, everybody knows how
yeah,
passionate Indiana fans are just toward basketball. That Nebraska game, I mean, I saw that scene on campus. They all had like game day shows, everything. What was that like after 6 years to get to experience that and see everybody that fired up?
it was unbelievable. I've never seen the stands like that in my whole 6 years. I'm used to like 3/4 full, half full stadium, and to run out there for captains and everyone's waving their towels. There's not an open seat in the whole stadium. People are going nuts, and it's crazy what winning can do. It's crazy what winning can do for a university, for a community, for a team, for a fan base. So I was just so happy that this fan base could experience a good football team and a team that they can get behind and cheer for.
Yeah, well, you certainly did that. I mean, y'all came out on that big stage, beat the shit out of Nebraska, and then that was when everybody kind of realized, like, hey, this may be a playoff team. Like you said, 6-0 before the bye, then you were 7-0. And then, y'all still continued to have a lot of success in Big Ten. I know y'all, that Michigan game, y'all grinded out a tough win. That aged incredibly well because Michigan started
Yeah.
out struggling, but down the stretch, they beat Ohio State and Bama. That ended up maybe being y'all's best win of the year. And I remember at the time, maybe Michigan didn't have the same reputation. And then y'all went to Michigan State and beat them like 49-10. I mean, y'all were like, it was like a total path of destruction. I mean, what was like, was it just like a confident thing? Like, what's the locker room like? I mean, just when you just know you're going to come out and beat the hell out of people every week.
Yeah, I think what makes college teams so successful is like the momentum they get when they start stacking wins and they start building up a confidence and a swagger that they know they can beat these teams. So we went into every week knowing we could beat that team and being fully confident we could and ultimately, other than a couple games, we did go out there every Saturday and take care of business. So yeah, those Michigan and Michigan State games back to back were huge for us. Um, we beat Michigan, in that gritty game. We had a great first half, but our offense kind of struggled in the second half, and our defense played great. And then we went on that second bye week, and then to have 2 weeks to prepare for Ohio State in that environment, and that top five matchup was huge for us. But I mean, we know how that outcome came, but yeah, it was incredible.
Well, going into that Ohio State game, did y'all like, how was the mindset? Just did y'all like feel pressure about it, or was it just like, hey, what an opportunity? Because I mean, that game was the most like hyped up game of literally the whole college football regular season.
Yeah, yeah, we looked at it more as an opportunity. We didn't really feel much pressure all year, but I wasn't expecting it to be that loud because I played there three. This is my third time playing there. One of them was in 2020 with no fans, but we played them in 22, and it wasn't nearly as loud as it was this year. And you saw we had to go to silent count after the second snap because I couldn't hear shit out there. It was so loud. The fans were going nuts. It was a great environment, but yeah, I mean, we just kind of got rattled and couldn't really recover. They did a good job, bringing pressures and things like that. So.
Well, look, that one, I mean, obviously it was disappointing, but that aged pretty well too because they ended up just destroying everybody on their way to the national championship. So, I mean, I've definitely seen a lot worse losses. And then after the Ohio State game, y'all bounced back. Y'all, I know Purdue's y'all's rival, and y'all beat them by like 100. And then, got to go play in the playoff in the inaugural year, and then to getting to play in Notre Dame against all that tradition in state battle. I mean, I know that game didn't go the way I wanted, but that had to be just, what was that experience like?
Yeah, well, it felt so good to beat the shit out of Purdue because I hate them with everything in me. And everyone that knows me knows how much I hate Purdue, but I don't want to get too much into that. My head will probably explode.
Oh
But
no, I like hearing about it. Did you grow up in Indiana, so you grew up hating them?
no, so I grew up in Pittsburgh, but being here for 6 years and learning the traditions and learning the rivalries, like we play for the Old Oaken Bucket, and the last time I had it was in 19, so I didn't have it for 5 years, and to do it out in that fashion, I mean West Lafayette is disgusting. Everything about that place is gross. The campus, the weather, the field, the stadium, it's disgusting. But Yeah, so it felt good to beat the shit out of them this year, 66-0. And then, yeah, going into Notre Dame. So we knew they were, a really good team. Their front seven was kind of undersized, but where they made that up for it was in, how fast they were and twitchy and the pressures and all the different packages they brought on defense. So as an O line, we knew we had our work cut out for us, but no, we ran out there. The energy was so good. Game day was there, obviously, and we went. Me, James, and Justice walked out for the captains, and all the lights went out. The Here Come the Irish and them running out. So the tradition was super cool. It was so awesome to play there, and yeah, obviously, the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but it was a cool experience.
I mean, what a season, though. I mean, y'all went into the year, like so off the radar. You end up making the playoffs, getting into, I mean, couldn't have been better. So I want to ask about Coach Signetti, because he certainly was pretty chest out during the year, running his mouth. But I mean, I know the players got to love that when you got a coach that's confident and goes to bat for his guys. What was playing for him like?
Yeah, so I actually grew up with Coach Sig's nieces. They went to my high school, so I know the Signetti name and things like that. And then he got here, and I was already declared for the draft when he went to Assembly Hall and said those things at the basketball game about, yeah, all that. But then he called me on like a random Wednesday in December and was recruiting me back to come play for IU. And yeah, he just pitched me about how he wins, how he's a swag, everything about him is a confidence and a swagger and his winning culture that he brings. And all the players and coaches that come with him bring that same winning culture. And I was like, like my goal for Indiana was to leave this place better than I found it. And he said, in order for you to do that, you're going to have to come back here and play another year for me. And I did, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, you got experiences like memories of a lifetime from this season. Yeah. Okay, so I got a question about what it's like to be in the locker room and part of a situation, because the narrative on y'all nationally was nuts. Y'all were like the America's darling, came out beating the crap out of everybody, and then it flipped before the playoffs where people were saying, oh, Big Ten schedule, all that stuff. What was, I mean, do y'all listen to any of that, or were y'all just like head down focused?
We hear it. We don't play into it too much, but we definitely hear it. But the locker room was so close. Like, us guys, like, we didn't really care about what anyone said. We heard it, but we didn't really give a shit about it because, like, at the end of the day, those people don't know anything about what goes into practice, what goes into our weekly prep. So we didn't really give a shit about what they said. They could say anything, and we don't really care. So we knew what we had. We knew what was in the locker room. We knew what we had coaches-wise, and they could get us in the right spots to be successful. So, we heard it, but we didn't really give a shit about it.
Okay, so after the Notre Dame game, obviously it didn't go the way you wanted it to. Like, how long did it take? Because obviously you're disappointed as hell. You're trying to play for a national championship. How long did it take, like, mentally to go from, like, really disappointed to, like, hey, we had, like, the best season ever, and I'm just grateful to be part of it?
Yeah, it actually, excuse me, it happened, like, kind of in the locker room. Sig came in and talked to us and pretty much said, like, don't let tonight take away from what you guys accomplished this year, what you guys did for Indiana football, what you guys did for Indiana University, for this community. Like, don't let tonight take that away from you. And it kind of took, obviously I was pretty emotional after the game and I was pissed off that I wanted to win. But then I saw my mom and my family and I just gave them big hugs. And at that point I was like, okay, like now I can really look back on this season and be happy about what we accomplished and be proud of this team and these guys. So it didn't take long, but definitely there was a period where I was pissed off after the game.
Yeah, no, fair. Well, and then you look back on it now, y'all lost 2 games. You lost to the national championship and the national runner-up. I mean, literally, yeah. You got to look back. You see Notre Dame make this big playoff run. I guess did you have more animosity toward Notre Dame or Ohio State? Who are you pulling for in that title game?
So there's 2 sides to this. One, Ohio State because of the Big Ten pride and because of my conference pride. But then again, Notre Dame for like being the underdog all throughout the playoff run, like being the underdog. And I have some guys like I'm good friends with the center Pat Coogan, and just for the center brotherhood, the O line brotherhood. But so I know him, and I was pulling for him because he had some pretty electric pregame speeches. If you saw any of those, I don't know if you did, but yeah, they were electric. So I was pulling for them a little bit just out of that aspect.
Okay, this is a random one. Do you have a favorite memory or two from this season or from your 6 years at Indiana?
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is the Nebraska game because that was the first game that like it was sold out. We had Barstool there, we had Big Noon Kickoff there, and going into this game, like especially for an O lineman, there was this narrative that Nebraska's defense never hasn't let up a rushing touchdown all year. So that was like, okay, we all had a chip on our shoulder. The O lineman did, and we ended up scoring 5 rushing touchdowns and hung 56 on these guys. So and Nebraska talked a bunch of shit before the game, and their D linemen were talking shit. I was like, all right, dude, like whatever. But yeah, I think that was my favorite memory this year.
Hell yeah. I mean, dude, beating them. I mean, and that was when Nebraska was top. They were number 20. I remember they were ranked top 25, and y'all came out and beat them by freaking 49 points. And then y'all got through the next few weeks when quarterback was hurt with a thumb injury, and y'all were able to beat Washington, too. We didn't even mention the Washington game, and they were solid. They were a bowl team. I don't know. It just seems like when you look back on the season, it's aging really, really well. Like the fact that Ohio State and Notre Dame were the only 2 teams y'all lost to. They were first and second, champion and runner-up. And then you, like, look at the rest of the playoff. Nobody won road games. It's all the home teams dominated. Kind of just, I don't know. It just feels like a dream season looking back on it.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. I don't know what the playoff committee has to do to kind of figure something out, but I don't think it's a coincidence that all the home teams won the first round and then all the higher seeds lost in the second round. So I don't know what they have to do. Maybe it's something, I don't know, but this season was amazing. It was just incredible. I'll think about this for the rest of my life.
Yeah. No, I think what they're going to have to do is it's that auto buy conference champion thing.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of those things when they put the rules in, they weren't really like thinking it through. They're just like, this makes sense. Let's just give the Power 4 auto buys. But then the way it broke, I mean, you had 3 West Coast teams, and Oregon deserved being 1. I'm not hating on them. But Boise at 3 and Arizona State at 4, especially the Boise at 3, was a little ridiculous. And if it would have gotten like reseeded, if they'd have just done it like by merit, Texas would have been 3, Penn State 4, Notre Dame 5, and then y'all probably would have, been 9 or 10, but it would have been a totally different thing. Oregon's the one who got screwed the most, though, man. I mean, Ohio State, the Cinderella 8 seed. I mean, my God, that was, they were way, way, way too good. And do you think there's any merit to the teams that the buys hurt them? Because it was like you had such a long break, and those other teams, I guess, came in a rhythm. Because, I mean, I felt like maybe that was a thing, too, with all the top seeds getting beat that round.
Yeah, like I love bye weeks. I think they're great for, football because, you put your body through so much shit throughout the week and through these games that, like, you need a break. But then again, on the contrary, like, these teams that didn't have a bye, they're rolling. Like you said, they're in rhythm. Like, and rhythm and momentum is so big in college football that, like, if you like say take Ohio State, like they absolutely routed Tennessee, and then they get this momentum and they go right into Oregon and they just beat the shit out of them. So it's like there's merit to both, but there's pros and cons to both. But I think that rhythm thing and the momentum is huge for especially in the playoff.
Yeah, well, the break was already, even if y'all play, you had a few week break just before y'all's game.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at teams that didn't play for 4 weeks. And I don't know, football's like such a rhythm momentum sport, but then on the other hand, you want to get healthy. So it's like a whole, it's like a whole thing. But hey, and also one other thing, lucky to be alive the first year of the 12-team playoff too, because if it was 4 teams, y'all would have been playing in, the whatever the Citrus Bowl is called now is what y'all would have been in. And you got to experience that.
Yeah, it's so cool. And like I can tell my kids one day, I was literally the first 12-team playoff game. I made the first snap. I was the first guy out for the coin toss, and it was really cool.
Hell yeah. Well, so Barstool wise, me and you kind of talked in the hallway for a little bit. You know, I feel like the offensive linemen don't get enough love. You know, we're in a world where everybody plays fantasy football, and you know they get your quarterbacks, receivers, running backs. The linemen decide these damn games. I mean, no.
Right.
If you suck at the line of scrimmage, everything else is gonna go to crap. And so we need, I know you're figuring out content, but the offensive linemen need some love here. We got to get this going.
100%. And I was like looking on Twitter and stuff, and I think people are excited to learn more about offensive linemen and learn more about what goes into their day-to-day, what goes into, what they eat or how they prepare for practice and just how shitty our bodies feel every single day. Because, I mean, we get into 100 car crashes every practice and many car crashes just from banging and clanging, baby. But yeah, I'm really excited to, start looking out for what I'm going to do content-wise, and either that's with breaking down film with maybe Coach Gruden or anyone in the office, and just showing people what it's like to play offensive line and break down defenses from a center's perspective and seeing, if the safety's down, if they're going to bring a blitz. There's so many things that I'd love to talk about and break down, and I think people, the stoolies in the audience would really appreciate, that perspective.
I agree. So Senior Bowl this week, I mean, obviously there's a lot of elite offensive linemen in college football. Are there any that really, really impressed you that you're looking out for this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think that kid from LSU is really good.
Yeah, Will Campbell.
I think the center from Georgia is really good. I think obviously Seth got hurt for Ohio State, but he's unbelievable. I just love watching like individual O linemen play and work, and it's just those are just some of the names that come to my mind right away. But that Texas
Kelvin Banks.
Yeah, he's nuts. There's just so many. The Big Ten has a lot of great O linemen. But yeah, it's awesome to watch.
But yeah, I can't imagine how much pressure a lot of these O linemen this Senior Bowl week before the draft. And even more than the game, it's the reps in practice. Just so much on the line this week down in Mobile. Jim Nagy is a friend of the program. I've had him on here. I love what he's done with the Senior Bowl. And, I'm being the Ole Miss fan that I am. I'm really watching the Jackson Dart thing because there's a lot of people saying he could project up to the second or first round if he possibly has a good week this week. But I'm going to be keeping a close eye on that. That would be fun, actually, this week if you followed some of that O-line stuff from Senior Bowl. I bet people would love it.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea, Mintzy. I could do that.
There you go. Only kind of ideas I have. All right, so social, how can we follow you? Because big response yesterday. I saw your Twitter blew up. People are super excited to have you at Barstool, and you'll be here March 1st in the office full time. Have you already? I guess you're 6 years, so you've already graduated from Indiana, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I graduated a while ago. I've just been taking bullshit classes to stay eligible for football. But yeah, my Instagram is at mike.katic, Katic. My Twitter's at KaticMichael. And yeah, follow me on there. Hopefully I can get some content out to you guys shortly about offensive line or about anything. So I'm excited.
Yep. Oh yeah, last thing. I forgot to ask you. Where did the Undaunted thing come from?
So it's actually in our fight song. And so when you're daunted, it means you kind of let other things affect you. You're not mentally strong. So being undaunted is just kind of you're just a mean son of a gun, and you don't care about anything. You're mentally strong, and you're ready to beat the shit out of someone.
All right. Well, the Undaunted thing, it became a big thing. People were always talking about it in the office. We got a lot of Indiana people here behind the scenes, and well, congratulations to you on a lot of stuff, making the college football playoff, a great 6-year career, and now you're coming to work for us at the Stool in Chicago. Can't wait to have you around. Let's go.
Fire up, man. Come on, I'm fired up, bitch.
I love it, dude. Let's turn it up and just drink some Stella Blue coffee. Thanks, Mike Katic. Joined us this morning. Appreciate it. Follow him on social, and can't wait to have you around in the office.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm pumped, man.
Hell yeah. That was awesome, Mike Katic. We're going to be joined by Tyler Moody here in a second. A lot of stuff to. Did you watch any thoughts on NFL? By the way, I didn't even mention it.
Nah.
You're more of a college guy. Do you watch NFL?
Yeah, I'm more of a college guy. Yeah, but I mean, I'm a Steelers guy, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of just. I'm just gonna be sitting back watching. So.
Fair enough. Well, thanks again for joining us this morning. Also, want to remind everyone, Stella Blue Coffee, big game pick'em. Go to StellaBlueCoffee.com. Pick who you think's going to win the big game, Chiefs or Eagles. And if you get the winner, you get 30% off your next couple of orders at StellaBlueCoffee.com. If you lose, you don't lose anything. You're still supporting rescuing homeless dogs, and you're drinking amazing coffee. There's also a giveaway of 10 Ninja coffee brewers. And if you sign up for StellaBlueCoffee.com, you get 20% off your first purchase. So StellaBlueCoffee.com, join us for the big game pick'em. One of the hardest games to pick I can ever imagine. The Super Bowl. It's like the Eagles are the more complete team, when you look at them, especially at the line of scrimmage. But damn it, how can you bet against number 15? How can you do it? I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, and they win every game. They've won 12 straight games by one score or less. And, you think, hey, if every game's close, they have to lose one. And they just, I don't know. It's like voodoo. I've just never seen anything like Mahomes. And, I know there are a lot of heartbroken Bills fans this week. I mean, just 4 times in 5 years to lose to the same team. It's just freaking brutal. But rematch of a great Super Bowl 2 years ago. This one in New Orleans. It should be a lot of fun. So, looking forward to it. Thanks to Michael Kadick. All right, Moody, I'm going to have you join us. Thanks to him for joining us. Once again, join the Stella Blue Big Game Pick'em. Also, get tickets on sale for the Dozen Trivia event. That's next Tuesday, 1 week from tonight at the Fillmore in New Orleans. We got a lot of our big. Will Compton's last appearance as a Barstool employee. Got Brandon Walker, PFT, Big Cat, Roan, Shea, Dave Portnoy, the whole crew going to be out in New Orleans at the Fillmore for that. So check that out. Also, while you're at it, subscribe to Wake Up Mintzy YouTube. Click the like, click the subscribe. We're trying to build this damn thing, and we appreciate all the support from the Stoolies, as always. Fun week in the office. I got Jeff D. Lowe tomorrow. We're going to have an inside surviving Barstool. If you have any questions for him, and I'm also going to talk about my experience in surviving. Looking forward to having him on the show tomorrow. As always, though, the Stool's freaking rolling, man. I mean, last night, shout out to the hole-in-one stream. Tate and Jerry on the golf simulator. I thought they'd be hitting hole-in-ones till freaking Wednesday or Thursday. They finished it at 3 a.m., which I thought was a big win. I thought that we'd be coming in and they'd still be going until Wednesday. So congrats to them. Tate taking over Barstool After Dark. Got a big response. So shout out to Tate and Jerry getting that done. We had Coach Gruden in here doing combine stuff. I mean, who the hell knows, dude? Barstool, you just get fooled by randomness every day. Michael get to know this, man. You never know what's going to happen in this Barstool office. That's for damn sure every time you walk in. It's too much fun. What's up, Moody?
Hey, my power's out.
All right, well, cool. We're about to get out of here. We'll be back with Jeff D. Lowe tomorrow on Wake Up Mintzy. Moody's power went out running it from Louisiana. That's pretty funny. Thanks to Stoolies. Follow Mike on Twitter. Like and subscribe to Wake Up Mintzy. Thanks to Stella Blue, and also thanks to Dude Wipes. Find them at Walmart, Amazon, Target, all over the world wide web. One use of Dude Wipes will change your life. Let's have a day, boys. Okay.
Click. There's a red streaming button. You're gonna have to uncheck that.
Where's the button?
Click where you'll see it at the bottom. It says streaming. You'll have to click that and in the.
I'm looking at the bottom of bottom right or.
Yeah, you'll see it on the right hand screen.
The right hand screen.
You'll see it.
It says stream. It says red.